Hi there, I'm Dr. Scanlon, and this video is going to be about Schoology quizzes. Schoology quizzes are one of the most common ways that you'll be assessed using Schoology during your time at Holy Ghost Prep. So it's a really good idea to understand what's going on with them. The first thing to point out is that just because Schoology calls these quizzes doesn't mean that they are actually quizzes. A Schoology quiz can be used for a homework assignment, for a test, for a quiz, for a project, or they could be an ungraded project or ungraded assignment. So just because it's called a Schoology quiz doesn't mean it's automatically going to be a quiz grade. So it's the first thing to keep in mind. Schoology quizzes are set off by these green puzzle piece symbols. So when you see a Schoology assignment that has a green puzzle piece symbol, you're talking about a Schoology quiz. Now, these can look very different from assessment to assessment. So when you click on one, it's always a really important thing to make sure you read all of the information that's presented to you in this area here before you hit Start New Attempt. Okay. This is going to include simple things like the due date of the Schoology quiz or this assignment. And it's also going to tell you what the instructions are that your teacher has given to you for the assessment. So if you look here, this section here that says this is blah, 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 this was typed by me when I was creating this sample quiz for you to see. Okay. This will also tell you any of the other parameters that the teacher may have set up for the Schoology quiz. Teachers can say whether there should be a time limit or not for this assignment. So if it's just a regular old homework assignment using a Schoology quiz, there might not be a time limit. But if they were giving you an actual quiz with a Schoology quiz, then there might be a message here that says there is a time limit on this assignment. Teachers can also change a lot of things about these Schoology quizzes. They can decide how the questions are presented to you. Are the questions randomized? They can decide whether or not you get to review your options or review your answers before you finalize your submission. They can decide whether or not you can view the submission after you've submitted it. And all of that information will be told to you on this page or on a subsequent page. So make sure that you always read through all this stuff before you actually get started and hit the Start New Attempt button. But let's say, for instance, that you have read all of this and you're ready to get started on your Schoology quiz. We're going to click Start New Attempt. And that's going to open up the actual assessment for us here. Now, this assessment, you can see already, has a time limit. And you can tell by looking in the bottom right-hand corner here, there's a little time limit thing going on here. This assessment does not have each question on a separate page. All of the questions are placed on the same page, so we can see them all here. But that wouldn't necessarily always be the case. You could have a Schoology quiz where all of the questions were on different pages. But let's take a look at what we actually have in front of us here. So this assessment has a sampling of all of the different types of questions that a Schoology quiz could present you with. Okay, so question number one here says Holy Ghost's mascot is the Firebird. This is a true-false question. And so you can click true or you can click false. I'm going to click true here because that's the correct answer. Here we have a multiple choice question. How many teachers at Holy Ghost are alumni from the class of 2001? I happen to know this answer. The answer is 3 because I'm one of those 3. But let's, for instance, put the wrong answer and see what happens later on as a result of that. Okay. Question 3 is a ordering question. So we see place the elements of the name of Holy Ghost Prep in the correct order. And you simply click and drag these elements around. So now we have Holy Ghost Preparatory School, all in order. Okay. Question 4 is a free response question. So it says, why did you want to come to Holy Ghost Prep? You could type whatever response you wanted here. And you have lots and lots of space to type this. If I just hit random buttons, we'll go on and on forever. This question will not be auto-graded by Schoology. A teacher will then have to come in and look at your response after you've typed it. But you could just say, it was my favorite. And as always, it's a good idea to use proper grammar, proper spelling, proper punctuation when you're typing something like this, especially if this was an actual quiz. Remember, you always want to try to be professional and formal when you are writing for your school assignments. Question 5 is a fill in the blank question, where if you type exactly the right answer, it will automatically mark you as correct. So this says the first year students of Holy Ghost are called, and we would say freshmen. You can see it's filling in your answer right up here. Okay. And then the final question we have here is a matching question where you're given a list of things in one column and you have to match them up to the other column. And so Holy Ghost uses our houses. We have Lieberman House, De Place, Brotier, and Laval, and then the various colors for them. And let's mark them all correctly. So Lieberman's color is red, De Place's color is blue, which would be D. So if we click here, we put D. And notice that if you enter these correctly, a little line gets drawn. And you can see, oops. So I accidentally hit the enter button, and now it's giving me the chance to submit my answers. But let's pretend, for instance, that I accidentally did that, right? Oh no, am I going to submit this test without having finished these 2 questions? Well, if the teacher has set up that your answers can be reviewed before you submit them, then that button does not automatically submit it. It brings you to the review screen. So this is my chance to review my answers. So let's say that that option was enabled and I hit this button and I realized I had messed up. I could say back. And now I'm going back to the actual questions. And I can scroll back down and I can finish this off. So Lieberman, we want is red. So we click there. De Place. Let's make sure we have these labeled correctly. So Lieberman is red. De Place would be blue. Brotier is going to be black. So if I click here and hit B, and then Laval is white. So now we have these little lines. And the lines are there to show you that you've got the right answers or you're connecting to the things that you think you're connecting to. Sometimes if you have a lot of matching options all at once, this can get a little jumbled. So it's always good to double check over here. But now let's say that we want to review our answers. Click here. And again, not every Schoology quiz will automatically allow you to review your answers. It has to be set up that way from the start. But a lot of times teachers will allow you to do that. So here's your answers. We want to say that they're all good, and then I can submit it. So now I've submitted, and again, you'll get one last chance to confirm your submission. I'm going to say yes. Okay. So already right off the bat, this thing is going to tell me what I got right and what I got wrong, because I've set this assignment to allow you to see your options. Now, it's not all quizzes or tests, Schoology quizzes will allow you to see what you got correct and what you didn't get correct. The teacher has to enable that setting, but in this case, that setting has been enabled, and so now I can see I got this one wrong, and the only thing I can't see is this question, which is listed as pending review. Because the teacher would have to go through and manually read this and then assign a score to you. But all the other things, again, as long as the assignment has been set, the Schoology quiz has been set so that your scores are automatically visible after you've submitted, you can take a look at this and see how it goes. This will give you the basic test again. And if you had a question or a comment about the test, you could add a comment here. But really, after you're done, My Submission is the tab that you would want to click on. Once it was done, you would be able to see your grade up at the top corner here. But again, this would need to be graded before you'd be able to see your actual score. And if you had multiple attempts or multiple submissions allowed, all of them would be listed down under here. So you'd be able to see every single one of your submissions as you go through the Schoology quiz. But that's it. So Schoology quizzes are very useful. They're an easy way for teachers to make small assessments for you or to give you a test online. And they're very good for allowing you to see your responses and your scores right afterwards, as long as that setting is enabled. But I always recommend you just make sure when you're doing it, be careful. Don't click the buttons too quickly. Make sure you read all of the instructions and all the directions. Make sure that you are able to review your answers before you hit submit. And when in doubt, you can always ask a teacher to explain it a little bit for you before you get started to make sure that you're doing things properly. That's it for Schoology quizzes. Thanks for watching.